What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Another Game Show. My name's AJ Gills. How y'all doing? It's time once more for the weekly show, mostly because I realized I can't put this off any longer, no matter how much I would love to. This probably is going to be I don't want to say it's going to be a shorter show this week, just because, I mean, we only have like 4 articles we're going over, but there was a lot of stuff I could have covered this week, you know, be it the, for instance, the fact that The Last of Us 2 got delayed, and I'm still trying to block that out of my mind to avoid openly weeping. But this week, we're going to focus on this, as the title of this episode states, this race to the bottom that so many developers are on, be it what Ubisoft's doing with their games, which is going to be the opening bit, what Bethesda's doing with Fallout 76, which I want to know who the hell came up with that brilliant idea. You know, be it Blizzard, we've talked about this in the last few weeks, Blizzard stepping on PR landmine left, right, and goddamn center. Be it EA and 2K doing their stuff that they're always doing. I think we've just kind of gotten used to them, you know, basically that image of, you know, a guy in a tuxedo with a bow tie, you know, like twirling his mustache, you know, those guys. So like I said, this week's show is going to be a little different. It's more going to be a lot of ranting, but we do have actual articles to kind of cover the different aspects of the ranting. But no, my biggest thing is I've always said this. I don't care if you want to monetize games, you know, you want to do microtransactions, you want to do stuff post, you know, you want to sell things post-launch, you want to find a way to continue profiting off your game post-launch. I understand that belief, that want. Fine. You can do it. There are multiple ways to do it. But there are some ways that are going to piss people off. And I don't get why these companies don't see, oh, we are really stepping on it. Maybe we should stop this, regroup, do something more traditional instead of, okay, look, we heard you with the last one, but this time we're gonna do it right, and it never fucking works. Jesus Christ, I do not get this idea that these live multiplayer games, these online, all this online bullshit is going to be like, it's the wave of the future. It's we're finding new ways to tell stories, except you're not telling stories. Well, it's the new way for gameplay. Well, the gameplay really kind of blows. Well, it's the new way of fuck off. The old way was just fine. You want to innovate on the old way, that's fine. But this isn't really. Well, this is innovation in a way. I'd argue this is something wholesale different, and it sucks. Christ on crap. I just kind of morphed into my rant there. I'm sorry. It's just this stuff has really been annoying the hell out of me lately. And I don't know why companies can't figure this shit out. Or it almost seems like they don't realize that we're pissed. Or they realize we're pissed, but still but they don't want to really fix the problem. They want to they want to try and find that perfect place where we're still pissed, but we're still buying their shit. I would argue that, you know, make us happy and we're likely to buy more. I'm just saying. I know it's a wild concept, but I just don't get it, especially nowadays. Because it's not like in the old days where, you know, I mean, yeah, there were forums put up by these companies to see what people think about their games. I was never a message board or forum kind of guy. I've never enjoyed that stuff. I understand some people do. It's just, it's never been a big thing for me. But, you know, so I've always kind of seen that stuff as, yeah, it's been a big part of the community, but it wasn't as public as something like people on Twitter, people on YouTube, people on all these modern social medias that are blasting these companies very publicly. Like, again, not off in a message board, just out to the public. And these companies seem to not be able to figure out people are pissed. I do not understand from a PR aspect why they can't see this. All right, let's move on to the first article before I keep going. The first one we've got here, Ubisoft CEO admits they blew it with Breakpoint. This is an article by Andy Chalk of PC Gamer. I was trying to remember what website this was. Yesterday was a big day for Ubisoft, and not at all good one. The publisher announced delays to multiple big games, including Watch Dogs Legion, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Gods and Monsters, which collectively took a big toll on Ubisoft's bottom line for the fiscal year, because originally I believe all three of those games were set for early 2019, or I'm sorry, we're in 2019, early 2020. Excuse me. Let's see. Another contributing factor to Ubisoft's financial woes, and part of the reason for all the delays, was the thundering failure of Ghost Recon Breakpoint and, quote, to a lesser extent, end quote, The Division 2. See, I'd argue The Division 2 is good, but it's not... it was a good game, but you're not going to... But I don't think it's what the company wants it to be. I don't think any of these games are ever going to be what they want them to be. I'm going to be entirely honest. I still think that Red Dead Online is kind of a weird thing that people love, but look, people seem to like it. I don't think it's as popular as Grand Theft Auto Online, but look, that's a company that has proven that they can do these cool online open world sort of MMO sort of things that people love, and you know, I give them credit. But you want to know what else Rockstar can do? They can deliver a fantastic single player experience as well. I mean, Red Dead 2 was personally my game of the year. Was Jesus Christ, was that last year already? I'm forgetting what year it is. But that year, Red Dead 2 was my game of the year. I fucking loved it. I mean, it's just, I mean, in Grand Theft Auto 5, I mean, I still remember. I still go back and play it from time to time. It's a great game. It's like I said, they've proven that you can do both with, you know, some care and effort. It's just... The Division 2 isn't going to blow people away, and it's something I was thinking earlier. It's what are the next generation of people like who want to start YouTube channels, who want to write about video games, who want to talk about video games, who want to help make video games? What are these in 20 years, 30 years? What are these guys going to be inspired by? Stuff like the Division 2? Yeah, Division 2, I'd argue, is good. I'd say it's higher up on all these like big MMO games, but I've kind of lost my interest in it. Well, I'm moving on. I'd much rather play Fire Emblem Three Houses. Red Dead 2. I'd much rather play the older Assassin's Creeds than I would the newer Assassin's Creed. And yeah, I argue with people on Odyssey, but I thought Origins was really good. But I'm getting off topic here. The stuff like The Division, The Crew. I'll say Destiny 2. I'll leave Destiny 1. I'll let that one be, because I think Destiny 1, because it was really the first one to do it, I thought was cool. The original The Division. Any of these kind of like live service multiplayer games. I don't think they don't inspire people. At least I don't think they inspire people like the older games do. I mean, what's going to happen to this to this next generation? I mean, it's... I sound like, well, somebody think of the children. And I'm not trying to sound like that, but in a way I am, because it's like, what are they going to be inspired by? You know, especially now that everything's changing and getting away from good stories and characters and weaving all that stuff together, all the stuff that makes games great with gameplay. I mean, that's what I loved about video games. I mean, I've said this before. You know, I went through some rough times in my life. Look, you know, I have autism. I have massive social anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety, flat out. Just period. I don't know if you can't tell sometimes by my stutter, by the way I have trouble thinking straight sometimes. Again, it's all anxiety. But you know, it's got, you know, at times, and really, I'm in a way I'm like this now, where I really don't talk a lot to people. It's like having an actual conversation with somebody is very difficult for me. But you want to know what really helped me really kind of get past these times? It's video games. It's being these characters. It's that escapism aspect that drew me into these things and pulled me out of kind of my shitty feelings at the time. And I know I'm kind of you know, opening up here. Ooh, it's not something this is my experience with video games. It's just they've been such a large part of my life and shaping and getting me out of these bad moments of time. I just really question. I mean, can stuff like The Division 2 do that? I don't think so. I don't think games like that have that ability. I'm like, hell, you want to know what's really funny is Ubisoft games were a big part of that. Ubisoft games are actually a big reason why I look at games the way I do now. I mean, I've always said the original Assassin's Creed game was, I think, was really one of the first games I'm looking at. Holy crap, this is an art form. It was one of those, it kind of caught me at the perfect time in my life where I was old enough to understand shit, and where I was, I don't know, like kind of like growing up in a way. I played it at the perfect time, and the original Assassin's Creed game just blew me away. and it's like I said, Ubisoft has had that such a big place in my heart, and it's so weird to sit here and go, they're crap now. It's no longer a seal of approval like the Rockstar logo or a CD Projekt Red logo. It's something totally different. I just, yeah, I don't know. I've kind of gone into like 3 different directions at once now, but it's like I said, it's just my question is, these games are just mass-produced garbage. We're leaving stuff that it's like I said, that can expire that next generation, that can really make you sit down and just be blown away. It's sad to me in a way. It's part of why I'm kind of pissed off about all this. But let's keep going. I'm sorry for getting off into the weeds there. Ubisoft didn't provide numbers, but said that it had made a, quote, sharp downward revision, end quote, in the revenue expected from both games, which it blamed on a failure to differentiate Breakpoint from its predecessor and overall lack of interest in sequels to live games and excess bugs for the game's failure. Okay. For the love of God, Breakpoint is not a sequel to a live game. Like Wildlands, yeah, you could play online, but there was a story to Wildlands. It was a little loose. It was really kind of a, hey, we're gonna put you in this playground of a country and fight this drug cartel. Yeah, like I said, it was kind of loose. I'd like a little more structured bit of a narrative, but all in all, I had a ridiculous amount of fun playing Wildlands, and I played it alone and offline. Could you? Yeah, you can play Wildlands offline. I played it offline. Sorry, I'm losing my brain. I'm losing my mind here for a second. I loved Wildlands. It was a great game, and it had an online component, but you could play it by yourself. You didn't need all these people to be everything. And again, what I also think made Wildlands so great was it was a very, I don't want to say concise experience, but everything in the game made sense with what we were doing. If I can say it like that, I'm trying to think of a better way to put it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, Breakpoint is such a hodgepodge of half ideas. It's trying to be, oh well, we have like a PvP multiplayer. It's kind of like the Division 2 multiplayer, and we have all these community events that you can do, and we have all of these look, you can matchmake with all the people in your area, and look at this crafting system that's really half-assed, and look at these survival elements that are really half-assed, and look at this that's half-assed. It's like I said, they're half ideas. They aren't everything in Wildlands, be it the stuff that was, it kind of light and the stuff that was very deep. Everything was still well thought out and made sense. And a lot of Breakpoint, I'm just like, why is this here or why isn't this here? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Breakpoint is a live game, but Wildlands wasn't. Wildlands could have been a single player experience. I played it as a single player experience, and I enjoyed it just as well. I did play with some people during the betas, and I had fun with that too. But that doesn't make it a live game to me. Breakpoint is, and I think Breakpoint is all the shittier because of it. You want to blame the bugs for the game's failure, fine. Yeah, that's part of it. But the fact that I think the fact that you made the game a live game is part of the failure. Hell, it's not even a lack of interest in sequels to live games. It's a lack of interest in live games, full goddamn stop. And again, I can't figure out why companies. I mean, is it because I get it. Companies are interested in your dollar. I've always said, vote with your dollar. Fine. That is what it is. But so many people buy games and then go, "This is a gigantic turd. What are you doing?" And these companies won't listen to that. Like I said, I understand if it's not as if people. I get it if it's mixed out in the community and they already have your money, fine, whatever. But this stuff is it's such a unifying voice that all of these people of the community are saying, I hate that word community, but so many people, so many gamers out there are saying, this sucks. Buying it or not, again, they should, at some point, so many people, even if they are buying it, at some point, if so many people are saying this is fucking terrible, you should reassess, not go, well, we've got their money. Because that's how you turn into EA and 2K. And look how people think about them. Just saying. Christ. In a post announcement, I'm sorry if I'm going kind of in three directions at once. I'm trying to stay concise here. In a post-announcement conference call, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot made the point that while Breakpoint will naturally be compared to Ghost Recon Wildlands, it's not a fair comparison because Wildlands has had years to get its act together. Wildlands was good from the start. Jesus Christ. That's a lesson that applies to live games across the board. Oh, God damn it, I'm going to lose it. Well, then why make a sequel to it? Then just keep adding shit to the original. Sequels to live games cannot be handled in the same way they are with standard start-to-finish games. And see, also, I don't like the fact that they're talking about sequels to live games, but earlier this article was talking about Watch Dogs Legion and Rainbow Six Quarantine and everything. The more and more I hear Ubisoft talk, the more and more I'm afraid for Watch Dogs Legion. Because Watch Dogs, yeah, it had an online component, but I wouldn't call Watch Dogs 2 a live game, because it wasn't. It was a single player game. But now I'm afraid, oh dear God, is there going to be an online component? Because if it's an online component, I'm serious, I might burn my copy of it when I buy it. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about how to stroke. Quote, we continue to learn and adapt to the realities of live operations, and what we just experienced is that it is more difficult to create interest for a sequel of a successful live multiplayer game when the past iteration has benefited from years of optimization and improvements, Guillemot said. With so many, well, then why is it then that a sequel to your typical start-finish game can do that? Because you patch, you add shit, you can do so much with optimizing or whatever a normal game. Is it because you release live multiplayer games broken? Fallout 76 style, guys. We're talking about that later. With so many learnings and built-in confidence from our team, we wrongly believe that after a 30 to 36 month gap between releases, players would be ready to enjoy new adventures of our live games. Well, how is it a new adventure if it's a live game which can just continue on for fucking ever? Gee, or how about you give us a good adventure? Even it's not even. I don't even think it's the fact that it's a live. Well, I mean, yeah, I think the fact that it's a live game and it doesn't really need to be a live game does piss some people off. Pisses me off a little bit, but my biggest thing is that you have the audacity to put a story in there and not even mention the fact that, look, it sucks. It sucks in structure. It sucks in writing. It sucks in, well, I'm not going to say in concept, because the concept could have been good if it was set up correctly. But there's so much wrong with Breakpoint in just from the narrative single-player aspect that we can't even conceive, because all the live aspects, the bugs, the half-thought-out ideas are there. God damn it, I'm starting to piss myself off. What's happening? Where was I? In the end, it proved too short a time frame. End quote. It's not the time frame, dude. I get it. He's a CEO. He's running damage control. Breathe, AJ. Breathe. Okay. But he also acknowledged that Breakpoint blew it fair and square in simple ways too. Change the basic elements of gameplay is one issue in particular. Ubisoft has generally had great success evolving its various franchises over the years, but, quote, some of these changes of formula can be unsettling and require perfect implementation in order to offer an optimal experience, end quote, Guillemot said. This has not been the case with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. The changes we brought to its core gameplay have generated a very negative reaction. While the change of formula has been very well received by some players, as average daily playtime per player is very strong at more than 3 hours, it has also been rejected by an important portion of the community, end quote, the majority of it. Interestingly, he also admitted that Ubisoft rolled the dice a bit by releasing Breakpoint while it was still suffering from some known technical issues. Then what? Why'd you do it then? Oh, because we had to hit the deadline. I'd rather you release the game right than release it broken, you freaking... Calm down. Okay. They weren't blockers, Guillemot said, as Ubisoft was confident that what it perceived to be, quote, small flaws were easily outweighed by the overall quality of the co-op campaign. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll finish this sentence, which is why it was surprised that it turned out not to be the case. Okay, some technical issue. Jesus Christ. Okay, look, it's not even that they're like massive technical issues. It's just there are a lot of like little small things that are just I don't get. There's the fact that, like your detection system is all over the place with the sound detection and everything is all over the place in that game. There's a lot of weird little shit that we could be talking about if we want to dig into the nitty gritty. I talked a lot about that stuff when I'm playing the actual game in the Let's Play. But again, the overall quality of the co-op campaign, the campaign blows. Oh my god. Again, it's writing, it's structure, it's setup, everything. It's so bad. Again, I like the concept. It could have been really good. But I can see where a lot of their focus went. It went to marketing and trying to make this a live game that you could sell me shit. Oh god. Quote, sorry. Quote, what we see now is that with the response from players, we were wrong in our assumptions. Yeah. Watch Dogs Legion, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Gods and Monsters are all now expected to arrive sometime in Q2, Q3 of Ubisoft's next fiscal year, which puts them between July 1st and December 31st of 2020. Beyond that, it sounds like Ubisoft's experience with Breakpoint means we'll be waiting longer than usual for its next round of live games. That's a sentence that really just makes the hair on the back of my neck go stand up. Quote, we need to make sure that for live multiplayer games, there is sufficient time between each iteration received to build strong anticipation and momentum, Gilmour said. We need to make sure that all our upcoming productions benefit from enough development time. This has been our strategy for many years, and it has proven very effective. This situation is telling us we can't make exceptions, end quote. Yeah, well, it proves that you're not listening to us, because let's go to the next article. All right, let's move on. I don't want to say I took a break, because I did kind of stand up after the last article, and then I started getting into another article to only realize that, oh, this article somehow popped up into my Twitter timeline, but then I realized, oh, this thing, I spent like 30 minutes just ranting about it. And realized, oh, this article came out like a year ago, because there were a few things that were said in there that I'm like, wait a minute, the hell's going on? I mean, it's an interesting article that was on Games Radar that was talking about the business model with live games and everything. And I still are my biggest thing with these live games, and this is kind of the point that I just made that I actually think is a good point to make about these games, because the writer kind of started about talking how this stuff was kind of crap, and then kind of went out onto this, well, but stuff like Destiny, where you spend an hour here or there, is great, while you don't have to remember what happened in the story, or where you left off in this puzzle, or where XYZ and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking, the great thing about a single player game is that I can, once I finish it, I can put it on the shelf and I go play something else. Or I can put it on the shelf for a couple days and I can go do something else. Unlike something like Destiny, where I have to spend an hour, like I have to keep coming back day after day after day after day after day. All these games where I have to keep coming back to make this endless gameplay loop worth it. It's this removal of, as they call it, the finite experiences. It's bullshit. He talks about the great success that Grand Theft Auto 5 that Grand Theft Auto Online was. You almost forget that Grand Theft Auto 5 had a story. And I sit there and go, well, that's bullshit, because Grand Theft Auto 5's story was fantastic. It was great. It was talking about how people at Rockstar were surprised that like a small percentage of people actually saw the ending to Grand Theft Auto 4. I say, well, guess what? I haven't seen the ending to Skyrim, because I get so distracted doing just random stuff the game has to offer. It's the same thing with Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm sure people probably got a certain point in the story and they just got so caught up doing side stuff and then forgot what was happening in the plot and started the game over. I've done that a lot. I do that a lot with a bunch of different games. There's nothing wrong with single-player experiences. I'd argue there's almost an infinite market for single-player experiences. Yeah, you're always competing with other games for time out of people's days, but the thing about a single-player game is I can play it 10 years after it came out, I can play a year after it came out, I can play it right as it comes out. And I don't lose anything for that. I can still enjoy the game. These multiplayer games, these live experiences, I need to play them while other people are playing them. and you need to keep coming back. That's the big issue with them. You know, for every success, like the original Destiny, like Grand Theft Auto Online, like Overwatch, how many games have tried to be like them and failed? That's the thing. It's not a sustainable business model. It's ridiculous. But no, I'm done on the whole finite experience thing. I'm done on that aspect because that's something I've been railing against for a long time. Let's move on to this article by Joe Scrubbles on IGN about how Fallout 76 is trying its own way of money grubbing and just somehow I want to know who came up with this decision and laugh in their face. Fallout 76 has revealed a new subscription service, Fallout First, which allows players to play alone in private worlds, among other things. Okay, look, okay, you're going to offer me the ability to play in a private world. It's the pricing that I find ridiculous. Launching today and priced at $12.99 a month, or $99 for a full fucking year, just to play a game alone. If I want to do that in a Fallout game, I'll just go back and play New Vegas. Oh wait, that wasn't a Bethesda game, was it? Oh, that's right. But I'm serious. I'll go play another Fallout game if I want to play a Fallout game by myself and not play a game that wasn't designed to be a single player game as a single player game. I do that sometimes. That, you know, stuff like Wildlands, clearly it was a multiplayer game, but but I had plenty of fun with it as a single player game. But Jesus Christ, why would I play Fallout 76 by myself? I barely want to play it with... I don't want to play it with other people. I don't even want to play... But by saying... I'll start the sentence over. I'm so baffled by this decision. I don't want to play Fallout 76 with Jesus Christ. If... I'm trying to find a way to say this. I wouldn't want to play it with people. I wouldn't want to play it alone either. Why give people this option? I don't get it. It makes no goddamn sense. This one's more funny than what Ubisoft is doing. What Ubisoft said has actually pissed me off. This just makes me laugh my ass off. So actually, I'm glad I'm ending with this. That pricing. That's $11.90. I think that's pounds or euros. I'm not entirely sure. Whatever. There's the pricing. Bethesda explains that a Fallout First partnership or a membership gets you, quote, a private world for yourself and up to 7 friends, a scrap box with unlimited storage for crafting materials, a survival tent that acts as a placeable fast travel point, 1,650 atoms a month for the game's shop, an exclusive Ranger armor outfit, unique items, and emotes for $100 a month. Jesus Christ. Only the owner of a private world has to be a Fallout First member. The 7 other friends can be regular players, although the world will only stay active if at least one player is a first subscriber. Only existing characters can join a private world. Private worlds will have the same rule set as the public adventure mode, and it can't currently be changed. However, Bethesda promises that private worlds will get more features in the future, including the possibility of mod support. It's sure to be a divisive mode. Bethesda admits in its own announcement post that some of these features, private world, solo play, and mods in particular, have been requested since before the launch of the game. So you thought, let's sell it to people. Fucking morons. To release them under the proviso of a recurring payment will likely cause controversy. You fucking think? Already look at this. It's already $15.75 on Amazon. Oh my god. I just don't understand. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I know this. We're going to stop laughing and talk, but god damn, this is funny. I just don't get where they came up with that price. $99 for a fucking year. I guess it's cheaper than paying $12.99 a month, but just to play a shitty multiplayer game by myself? Oh man, that's awesome. And from what I've heard, it's broken. People I think people have actually tried this stuff and it doesn't work. Oh my god. I'm moving on to the next one because it actually mentioned controversy. All right, on to an article from Eurogamer. As the Fallout First disaster hits mainstream headlines, Fallout 76 players head in-game to protest. Oh, man. God damn it, all this Crusader Kings thing, it's really throwing me off. It hurts my eyes. Article Wesleyan Pool said Eurogamer. This week, Bethesda launched Fallout First, and it's fair to say the reaction has been pretty negative. Yeah, just kind of like the reaction to the game. Fallout 76 is €12, whatever it is, pounds, whatever, per month subscription was slammed by the bulk of the Fallout community for being ill-timed and ill-advised. That's putting it nicely. It includes a raft of features players of the online-only Fallout game have called for since launch. It's almost like they wanted It's almost like they wanted a Fallout game where you could actually have friends drop in and play Fallout, like a regular Fallout. Stick with me here. They wanted something like Fallout 3, but my friend can drop in and play with me. That's what they wanted. They didn't want whatever Fallout 76 tried to be, which was like an MMO. They didn't. I don't think people wanted that. I think that, like I said, they wanted Fallout 3 with co-op. That was what they wanted. Again, that's just my theory. Fallout have called for it since launch, such as private worlds, a scrap box for unlimited junk storage, and survival tent that creates new placeable fast travel points. Blah blah blah. Sleeping bag. Blah blah. It got worse for Bethesda when it emerged. Some of the features locked behind Fallout First don't work properly. It turns out private worlds, one of the key draws of the subscription, are not actually private, and the scrap box is deleting some players' junk. The issue with private worlds is pretty glaring. You can't make them invitation only, which means anyone in your friends list may see your private world and join it, whether you want them to or not. As for the scrapbox, some players have said this unlimited capacity storage space is swallowing their junk whole. That sentence just sounds odd to me. In a statement issued to Polygon, Bethesda said it's working to sort out these problems. Quote, "We understand this is not what players expected from their private worlds," Bethesda is quoted as saying. "We are looking to provide an option in an upcoming patch that will allow Fallout First members to restrict access to their servers more completely. Fixing the scrapbox issue is currently our top priority," Bethesda added. "We are also exploring ways to restore the missing items. It's a disastrous launch for Fallout First then, but the PR nightmare has now broken through the specialist press barrier and hit the mainstream. At the time of the publication of this article, the front page of the BBC website is home to features on the person who nabbed the domain for FalloutFirst.com. For some reason, Bethesda didn't bother. David Chapman from Indiana paid I don't even know how much money that is, for the domain and used it to mock Bethesda's official Fallout First announcement blog post. Oh, this is great. Whoever did that, well done. I'm glad to share his state with you. Chapman told BBC Fallout First, quote, "was the straw that broke the camel's back and made me make this website. My motivation stems from the frustration with Bethesda," he said, "and in general the current trend of the gaming industry. They said players had been asking for this. Players never asked to pay a subscription for features hidden behind a paywall," end quote. Preach. Thank you. Oh, man. What started off as a video where I was actually really angry has now ended in something that I'm actually grinning ear to ear, man. This is funny as shit. Fallout 76's terrible launch is well documented, but the developers have issued a raft of updates since in a bid to turn the game around. Many of these updates have improved matters, but Fallout 76 continues to suffer setbacks. An upcoming expansion that adds NPCs to the game was due out later this year, but Bethesda pushed it to 2020, and now we have the Fallout First Horror Show. Fallout 76 players are now talking about getting together in-game to protest Fallout First. The Fallout 76 subreddit, which had been a beacon of positivity amid a sea of negativity since the launch of the game, is now packed with the threads from players who say they're done with Bethesda's controversial MMO. Great. What's next? It's hard to see Fallout 76 recovering from Fallout First. At least, you know what? The game lasted longer than I think it actually should have, so I'll give them some credit. At least in terms of community sentiment, even if the premium subscription is doing the business in the short term. For Bethesda, the Fallout, it could last years. Holy shit. It's like I say, it's a race to the goddamn bottom, man. I don't see these unlimited gameplay games, these MMOs, these multiplayer only games surviving in the long term. Because I think people are starting to turn on them. Because I think people are, excuse me, I don't want to say people are starting to realize that they're only cash grabs. Because like I said, I think these multiplayer only games have their place. It's like I said, I think that stuff like Overwatch, stuff like Fortnite, stuff like this stuff will continue to exist. And I got no problem with it because I know people enjoy that stuff, you know? It's like Call of Duty mostly being in a multiplayer franchise. I get it, but I still stand by it. If you're gonna put a single player in there, you got to make it good. Which honestly, I'm enjoying the Modern Warfare story. I will hand them that. Where the hell am I going with this? Basically, what I'm saying is people are understand. I think people have finally just admitted no more. Look, we can only deal with so much. It's time to go. You know, companies, you had your fun, but we got to go back to the old model because I think people are going to stop paying for it eventually. It's ridiculous. All right. Either way, I got to close out here because I got to grab something to eat before I head out. Or before I head off to work. Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, all the tips down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you guys thought about it, thought about this stuff. And I am sorry that I didn't really cover anything else other than this stuff. It's just, this was what I really just wanted to talk about this week. It's like I said, yeah, the delay for The Last of Us 2 sucks, but again, they're trying to make it better. I get it. I've read Neil Druckmann's tweet and everything like that. I trust the company. I trust them with the game. It's fine. I don't think there's problems. There wasn't really anything I had to say about it. This was the stuff that I really wanted to dig into, and I think I did that with all my screaming and laughing. But tell me what you guys thought down in the comments. And thanks for watching. And until next time, guys, my name's AJ Kells, Something Game Channel. I'm out.